So I want to introduce you to Dr. Breakthrough. He has been called one of the most entertaining and enlightening and electrifying speakers on the circuit today. He's traveled the world speaking in all 50 states and 28 countries. Voted in both the Black Belt and Motivational Speaker Hall of Fame. Author, minister of the gospel, happily married man with 8 children. He has been the top of 7 companies with his greatest success of building a teams of 1.5 million members worldwide in 6.5 years. He's a Texit leader. He's a good friend. Obviously I got a chance to meet him because he picked me up. Introduce you to Mr. Dr. Breakthrough. How are you, sir?
Hey, man, it's a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy beyond measure to be with you and your lovely wife. Man, what a great presentation. Both of you, I call you the power of God's love couple, and appreciate both of you and what you're doing to make a difference.
Yes, sir. Give it to us.
Hey, well, folks, again, I tell you, you already heard enough to get started, but I would throw this in just to make sure we're clear. As Dr. Breakthrough, I always tell people I can't provide a breakthrough. I just prescribe the breakthrough. But when people follow the breakthrough prescription, God provides it. What's a breakthrough? It's exploding through barriers that at one time seemed insurmountable. And the operative word is the word seem, because sometimes my eyes and my senses tell me lies. Like sometimes people look at this and they say, man, this seems too good to be true. Well, actually, it's both good and true. When I first met my wife, I was like, man, a woman that can't be that beautiful, that spiritual, that classy, and still be single, right? Guess what? So I took her off the market quick. 5 months later, we were married. That was 17 years ago now. And but anyway, in that case, it was both good and true. So let me just tell you this. Sometimes, like recently, I had somebody, and by the way, I can tell you when I first spoke for the company in McKinney, Texas, back in June, and we got started. Matter of fact, Bobby Gray came up to me and said, man, I've never seen anybody move a crowd like you. So, man, what I got to do to win your trust to get you to work with us? Well, after seeing this presentation, I was like, man, this just makes too much sense. I've been teaching too many biblical principles that this will allow me to empower. Here's what I like to say. Put it this way. Texit Coin will empower the average person to create above average results and above average income in below average time with below, and in some cases, no effort. Oh, did you get that? I said, it's going to allow them. See, I've been the top of so many different companies, but guess what? I had to develop all these special skills, but guess what? You don't need a special skill. All you have to learn to do is what my beautiful wife, my ABCD, adorable brown caramel delight, all you got to learn to do is circulate. Now, when we first got married, she said, baby, we don't want to spend money. We just want to circulate money. I said, what does circulate mean? It sounds good, but what does it mean? She said, when you spend money, it's gone forever. But when you circulate money, she said, it goes out and it comes back, a never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment. And I was like, man, from now on in the Harris household, we're going to look for ways that we can circulate the money that God allows us to be stewards of. Texit Coin is one of the greatest ways of doing that. When the scripture says a good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children. And by the way, we know that's not just a spiritual inheritance, because it says house and riches are the inheritance of fathers. How can a person do that? By getting a minor. This is going to produce, again, as Brother Casper said, about 135 years. So our objective is not just me and my wife, but all of my children, and then have one for each one of my grandchildren. Here in Dallas, Texas, they have something called trust fund babies, right? But we don't have trust fund babies. Our children will be Texit Coin fund babies. Come on, somebody. But real quick, somebody recently said, as a minister of the gospel, I know you got to be careful in things you do. There's some red flags about Texit Coin. Why would you still be part of it with the red flags? And I know what they mean by red flags, because, like, for instance, when you say crypto, to a lot of people, that's a red flag. So the question is, does a red flag mean you stop, or does a red flag mean you do more research and just check it out, right? When you say it's network marketing-ish, it's a red flag for some people, right? When they find out that the owner declared bankruptcy back in 2012, the previous company, it's a red flag for some people. And I'm like, well, let me tell you the green flags that far outweighed the red flags. And I won't have time to go through them all, I'll just give you a few. But one, listen, Bobby Gray is very transparent. He tells you up front. So if he's trying to hide that, that'd be one thing. But when he tells you up front, see, when I read the Bible, God tells me the good and bad about the people. I was like, I wouldn't tell the bad about the, God says, no, I'm going to tell you the whole story, right? So he doesn't just tell you about Paul, that this great man that's willing to go all over with the gospel. He tells this guy was killing Christians thinking he was doing God's service, right? I mean, you talk about terrible. I would have never told that part, right? So again, my friend, listen, the green flags outweigh the red flags. So here's some of the green flags, and that is this: risk versus reward. See, you always got to understand this and think. See, the employee mindset focuses so much on the risk, they lose sight of the reward. The entrepreneur, or what I call kingdompreneur mindset, we focus so much on the reward, we're willing to deal with the risk, especially if it's a calculated risk and if it's calculated in our favor. Texit Coin is calculated in our favor. By the way, everyday people are winning and getting great breakthroughs. And now one of my prescriptions when somebody needs a financial breakthrough is to be part of Texit Coin. One of my prescriptions when somebody needs a breakthrough, as a matter of fact, if you want to have a breakthrough of having fun and enjoying life, so many people are allowing life to live them. But you need to get a breakthrough and start living life living. And Texit Coin will help you to do that, my friend. Listen, do you know for a limited time you can get a license plate as long as it has TXC in it? The company's going to pay you. They're going to give you a miner. Now, you got to at least buy one miner. But if you get a personalized plate, and we just got ours for a year, it costs us about $90, and you just take a picture of your proposed license tag, what it's going to look like, and the fact that you paid for it. We'll give you an email. You can email the company, Kirsten@blockchainmint.com, and they'll send you a free miner. A scam doesn't do that. I mean, that's one of the greatest green flags ever, my friend, and that says you got to go ahead. The fact that Texas, my friend, think about this. The fact that there's some politicians that have Texit Coin, that's a green flag. Let's go on. The new laws of this new administration are now in the favor of cryptocurrency. That's a green flag that says let's go on. The crowdfunding, over $125 million, and like Casper said, it's all transparent. That's a green flag that says let's go on. The fact that Bobby spoke before the Senate, Ron Paul spoke before the Senate, my friend, that's a green flag that says let's go on. The fact that it's on 9 exchanges, that's a green flag. Yeah, there may be some red flags, and yeah, there's some people out there bad-mouthing Texit Coin. Matter of fact, one of my mentors told me this, and I got to get ready to stop. He said this, he said, if you want people to get after you, do 3 things. He said, have more, know more, and do more, they'll get after you. He said, now, if you want people to leave you alone, just do 3 different things. And I said, what's that? He said, have nothing, know nothing, do nothing, and people leave you alone. Well, I got to thinking about that. If you have nothing, know nothing, do nothing, they're going to call you lazy, shiftless, no good. So you're going to get in trouble no matter what. You might as well get in trouble for doing something good. And so whenever you have a company that's breaking records and creating massive breakthroughs, you're going to have some haters. Now, my acronym for haters, HATERS, having animosity toward everyone reaching success. See, here's what I found out. Every last one of the haters or negative video you could find, those aren't people who have bought a miner and allowing that miner now to make money for them every day. Those are people that are going based off hearsay. Listen, in 18 months, over 5,000 to 6,000% increase. That's a green flag that says let's go. Over 50,000 members worldwide. That's a green flag that says let's go. Listen, think about this. It started as a clone of Litecoin, and now it's morphed into something that's never been done before. This is a green flag that says, man, this is something I want to be part of. When you think about get this now, the fact that the Texit Coin doesn't badmouth or try to compete with Bitcoin or anything else, right? We just said, look, we're just busy doing what we do in our own lane. That's a green flag that says, you know what? It's something I want to be part of. And by the way, they've been liquid since day one. No lockups, no forced holdings, no artificial scarcity. Miners can sell out at any time, my friend. That's a green flag that says, yes, I want to be part of that, my friend. See, so if you're tired of working hard for your money and you're ready to hire your money to work for you, as you've already heard so eloquently by Casper and his lovely wife, Cheryl, these mines will work for you 24/7, 365 for the next 135 years. They never take off for Christmas or Easter. They don't even take a potty break. They work 24/7. That's like having a financial employee, my friend, that solely makes money for you every day. Now, you probably heard Warren Buffett make the statement, or you heard somebody quote him. He said, you'll work until you die unless you learn to make money in your sleep. Every single person who has purchased a mine, at least one, they are now making money in their sleep. And my friend, I want to invite you to do the same. So this perpetual passive process of powerful increase in income, I think is something you ought to be part of. Red flags, of course. There's no guarantees with anything. But the green flags so far outweigh the red flags that I'd wave this green flag and say, hurry up and get started. And I close with this quote. Napoleon Hill said, unsuccessful people take a long time to make up their mind and change quickly, but successful people, we make up our mind quickly and change slowly.
Yes, sir.
God
Yes,
bless
sir.
you.
It took me 3 days to make up my mind, and I was off to the races.